This is brought to you by the Institute of Professional Engineering Technologists. The presentation and discussion is made available in good faith for the use of prospective applicants for professional registration at Engineering Council of South Africa. We've tried to make the material as accurate and reliable as possible, but we cannot guarantee registration on the strength of following our directives and guidelines discussed in this webinar, and also on the basis of the material supplied. The ECSA registration process is a peer review system, and your registration is wholly dependent on you having met all the outcomes and on your ability to describe this to the assessors in a manner that is satisfactory to them. So applicants make use of this material at their own risk, and we take no responsibility for the outcome of any application for ECSA registration based on the content of the presentation. But as I said, we make use of people who are knowledgeable about the ECSA process and are not new to it. And as such, Chris is one of them, and Wilhelmina also. She's well versed in ECSA registration. So Chris, over to you.
All right. My name is Chris Maynard. I'm a professional technician, technologist, and I'm an honorary fellow of IPET, the Institute of Professional Engineering Technologists. I belong to SAT, what you call the Society of Asphalt Technology, and also SAICI. A lot of you know that. As Johan says, I'm also assessor, moderator, interviewer by ECSA. So and that's my introduction. Today, what we're going to do, we're going to discuss the processes that your application for professional registration goes through at ECSA, because a lot of people have got the misconception about that. So with this process that I'm going to discuss is based on RO3 PRO-PC, the latest version. Procession of the applications for registration of candidates and professionals. Candidates I'm not going to talk about. We're going to talk about professionals. It includes professional engineers, professional technologists, professional technicians. And I see they've taken out the professional certificated engineers at the moment. So revision number 3, it was dated 9 February 2022. Next slide. Now, if you look at this is in that document. If you look on your left-hand side, which is candidate, we're not going to look at that. We look at the administration screening, setup of experience appraisal, setup of experience appraisal moderation, conduct professional review, or you can get into be kept in abeyance and so forth, but we will discuss it as we go along. And then set up for professional moderation, and then what happens, you get sent to your moderation, gets sent to the central council, and your registration can be deferred, refused, or it can be said it is you are competent and you can get registered. Okay, next slide, Johan. Okay. What happens when your process upon the receipt of your application? What happens to it? It gets administration screening. What that means, that's your first step of your application. So the administrators that are there, they don't know just what to check for the correctness of your application. For instance, have you got all the documentation there? If there's not all the documentation, they will send you an email to tell you, please make sure that this certain document will be sent to you via email in the form of an official letter, correspondence. And they will also check if the category applied for has the required minimum educational qualification and or experience. If they're satisfied, they will submit your what you call folder of evidence, is what we call it, to 4 experienced appraisers from the ECSA panel for review. Now, just remember, the experienced appraisers are in the field of what you stated that you're going to go and be assessed accordingly. So if you do electrical light current, you will not get a civil engineering guy doing your assessment. It will be a light current electrical assessors that are qualified in that field. Next slide, Johan. Okay, upon the receipt of the application, as I said, from your experience appraiser. Once the appraisers receive, they will look at the documentary evidence in its entirety, not just that 1 or 2 pages. We look at everything. The total document evidence by the applicant is assessed in its entirety. The appraisers will submit their reports to the administrator. Now, what happens is we look at all the documents, we look at your reports, we look at your TERs, we even look at your application, we even look at your referees that has been submitted. We look at everything. We even look at your IDP. We even look at your, if you've got any disabilities, we take note of that. We do our reports on a standard form that has been done. And once we've completed, we give our assessment and we send it back to the administrator. We get a certain time frame. And then once that is the total appraisers on this level is 4. So remember that that's 4 people that look at your document. Nobody knows who is getting their documents. So it's done independently from everybody. So the administrator gives us a certain time frame to finish it. We finish it and we send it to them. They take it and they check to see if it is complete, is everything complete, and then they will send it. Next step. Are you on? Next slide.
Chris, before we go on, just to make sure that the people understand that these 4 appraisers, if you apply as a technician, that will be technicians. If you apply as a professional engineer, it will be engineers. If you apply as a technologist, it will be technologists. In other words, it's a peer review process. It's not just those people are not on in any other group than what they must be registered in the group that they are appraising. Thanks.
That's correct. Yes. Okay. Now, once the administrator has received the 4 assessments, he goes through, as I said, and checks that everything is correct. Then he will decide if he's going to use 2 moderators or 1 moderator. Now, remember, the moderator and the assessors will not be the same persons at all. It's also an independent person who has not seen these documents. They see it for the first time with the assessor's reports. So moderators moderate the assessment, experience appraisal report of each assessor, inclusive of the documentary evidence supplied by the applicant. Now, what happens is the moderators give recommendations which can be based on the assessor's reports and the documentary evidence supplied by the applicant. Now, you can either proceed to professional review directly, or you proceed to experience assessment interview, which is 2 peers in your discipline and in your level of either technician, technologist, or a professional engineer. Or it can be recommended that it be kept in abeyance, or you can be refused to proceed any further. That be refused to proceed any further is very rare, but that does happen when your documentation is written so badly that you can really see this person will not get any information out from them to help them to proceed further. Okay, we can go on further. If we just go back to the back slide there, Johan. One back. Okay, now to proceed to, no, one back there, Johan. To, just go a bit forward again. That's the one where we're talking about the abeyance and that. Okay, just stop there. Now to proceed to professional review. It means that the assessors have looked at your documentation and they've looked at your report, they've looked at your training and experience report, they've looked at everything. There's no red flags that have been put up to say, yes, what we've seen here, our documentary evidence, means that you can go for professional review, which is done by your peers, which means, yes, you can do if you can get registered or not. But now if you get the experience assessment interview, it means there's items there that is not very clear in your report, especially your engineering report, that is not clear. So we need further information from you. That's why we have an experience assessment interview, just to get further information on those certain outcomes. It's not always all the outcomes. It might be a few outcomes, but then we get that. Now, kept in abeyance is when we look at it and we see the person is already almost there, but if they need another 12 months or they need to get certain outcomes, it gets said in the correspondence, they need to get these certain outcomes, then they can go ahead for that. Once they achieve those outcomes, they can resubmit. But remember, you do not pay extra to when you're kept in abeyance. But when you are refused to proceed any further, it means that you do not go any further. Well, this can also happen during your experience in this assessment interview. Your document could be recommended by the people who are interviewing your interviews to say, keep in abeyance, or they can say, refuse to proceed any further. That can happen. Okay, next one, are you on? Okay, the process of receipt of your application, the professional review. This is where everybody wants to go and have their professional review. This is done by your peers. There are 3 reviewers from the ECSA panel of professional reviews for your review. Now, this is where you discuss your reports and your experience of what you did. There you usually have a presentation that you do, a 15-minute presentation, and there are questions asked about on the presentation and also questions that are asked on your report. So, yeah, you prepare a presentation for your period you have chosen. Now, what is the 2 criteria we have to determine? Your competency must be demonstrated at the required level at all 11 outcomes, not just at 1 outcome or 2 outcomes, at all 11 outcomes. Now, the second thing that we also have to determine, the work submitted, is that your work? We do get people who get other people to write their reports for them, and then they come there and then they start hunting around for answers. Then we know it is not their work. So you have to write your own report. You have to write your own documents, your own presentation. Do not get other people, and do not change your style of writing. You got the individual style. That is your individuality. You must be comfortable. And when you're going for professional review, prepare for that interview by knowing what is in your documents, by knowing what is in your presentation, and knowing what you can answer. Okay, next slide, Johan. All right, now, what happens? You got either 2 outcomes with a professional review. Moderation gets sent to the moderator. The total moderators can either be 2 or 3 in number, but usually it's 2. A third one is brought in if there's a bit of doubt. Okay, so what happens? The PR reviewers will submit their PR reports to the administrator, and the administrator will select from the ECSA panel of moderators to moderate the reports as received from the PR reviewers. So there's only 2 outcomes. The registration of the applicant based on the reports and evidence submitted, or a refused registration based on the reports and evidence submitted. So there's only 2 outcomes. If you get refused, you start all over the cycle. If you get recommended for registration, you will get, go next slide, Johan. Okay. Upon the receipt of your application, it will be sent to the central committee. The PR moderation reports are sent back to the administrator. Moderation reports are submitted to the central registration for endorsement. If your application is refused, it means you have to reapply as if you have never applied before. So the central registration will endorse what has been said. So if you look at it, how many people have gone through your report? Each one is it's not the same person, it's each individual. So it's not a process that is just 1 or 2 people that has been going through it. When you go to professional review, everybody has got the idea that it's only 3 people that have looked at my report, but they forget about the background where the people have worked on the reports before. Okay, next slide, Jan. Okay, in summary, today we briefly discussed the process that is followed by ECSA upon the receipt of your application. This falls under for a professional engineer, professional technologist, for technicians, and for this what you call a certificate engineer. Each one has got the same, we follow the same process. So it must be noted, your peers in the industry and in your field will be assessing, moderating, and interviewing you. There will not be a professional engineer moderating a technologist. As Jan said, a technician will be moderating a technician in those steps. The same with a technologist, also a technologist. Engineer. And a certificate engineer will be a certificate engineer in their field of expertise. So you will never get an electrical person working with a civil guy. Okay. So each process is completed by a different member of the panel, as I said there. Okay, next slide, Johan. Okay, just the acknowledgement. The presentation is based on the Engineering Council of South Africa ECSA document, the R03 PRO PC, processing of the applications for registration of candidates and professionals, revision number 3, dated 9 February 2022. Okay, next slide, Johan. Okay, that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for attending. And any questions? But before we go to questions, but please, there are previous presentations to go to, and that is, can we just go to that slide again, Johan? It's to https professionalcpt.co.za. There are also other IPET services and groups, the IPET Professional Registration Advice, which is there. It's on WhatsApp. Then we've got the IPET job portal for free engineering job adverts. That is the group there. You can always go and talk to Johan, and you got the IPET video tutorials on professional registration and CPD, which is, I said, professional CPD, and then the website you can also get there on your website. And if we don't answer in number, you can also go to ipet.org.za, but there is a number. Just please remember, it's 073 336 2471. When you do that, tell where you want to go on the job portal or on the professional information, and tell Johan where your name. Please do not just say, I want to register, but there's no name. It doesn't mean much. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, any questions?
Yeah, I don't answer that phone. Just leave a message or a WhatsApp there, and then I will put you on the group. But as Chris said, if you just say hi, please put me on the group. I don't know which group you want to be on. I don't know who you are. And at IPET, we don't consider people as numbers. We do the technologist family, and as a family, we talk to each other by name. So please say who you are and which group you want to be on. If you want to be on the job portal or the registration advice or both of them, say so. And at some stage, I do that about once a week. I will go to that phone and upload some data, and then I will add you to the groups. Thank you.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Good. Who's got questions today? Put up your hand and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Got some power today. That's good.
Yeah, my power is off.
Powerless.
Yeah, you're powerless now. Okay, anybody got any questions? Let me just get my camera sorted out.
Okay. Ntsikelelo, you unmuted already, so carry on and ask your question. Looks like you've also got a power sharing problem there.
Okay. All I want to tell everybody now, yeah, please, you must prepare for your interviews at all times. Because if you don't prepare, you will not know what to answer many times there. Okay. All right, Moketsi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I think, first of all, thank you very much, Chris, as always, on point. My question this afternoon is I'm in a position where I assume that when you're making your presentation or your report, it's about proving that what you are doing, you are knowledgeable in, so that you are eligible for being registered. And I understand that that might need to come with repeatability, to say that you have been doing and growing in a certain skill for a certain period of time. So my question is, because I work in a design office, however, we handle different products, railway rolling stock, and then at certain points we are dealing with rotating machinery. At certain points we're dealing with simple additions to certain machines, just a part or an assembly. So when the products are that vast and are vastly different, will I have a problem in saying that I've been practicing design in a specific corner, or will it be considered as design in general, regardless of the type of products that I'm given to design?
Okay. So you're doing mechanical, am I correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So that clears up a lot for me too now. Seeing that you're mechanical, you tend to do a lot of different things. I understand that. But now, I'm going to tell you something there. You must look at your TER. Your TER, you're telling what you're doing. Am I right?
That's correct.
Now, when you're going to do your engineering report, when you do outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10, talk about one period. Because we have already looked and assessed what you've done in your TER. That is your brag wall. You talk about what you're doing. Now, the nitty-gritty comes down to, what did you do? You take one of your periods and you discuss that. Then it's much easier for you to discuss. Now, if you're going to discuss, so you've got 9 periods. Now you want to discuss it in outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. You're not going to make it, definitely. You're going to lose it. because you would not know where you are in the end. So that's why I'm keep on saying, think about of one period that you choose for outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. The other outcomes, you can choose other periods. That's no problem. But those are your criteria. That's your critical items that you have to do. Do you understand what I'm saying now?
I understand that one, Chris, sorry.
Okay, let me explain something. You have to design a machine, or you have to design a part of a machine, which
Yes.
you're doing every day. Now a
Yes.
guy comes to you, or client comes to you, and then you sit behind the table and you've got this wall behind you with all your qualifications and all your, your accolades and everything that you've got. That's your brag wall, eh?
That's correct, yes.
And then here comes the client and he says to you, I've got this problem. And you say to him, but look at my brag wall. Is he going to give you the job?
No.
No? You understand where I'm coming from now? You're going to say to him, okay, give me that. I'll look at it. And that's where outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. That's a crunch of it. You say, this I'll design. This is my options. This is how I'm going. This is information I'm collecting. You don't sit and rely on your brag wall there. I hope it makes sense to you now, Moketsi.
Yes, it does, Chris. However, okay, let me come at it from this angle. For example, I've been largely dealing with, like I said, railway rolling stock products, and then there was or there is in the pipelines a project for designing a damaged our company's damaged conveyor belt. Now, should I be part of that project? I do a good job. I produce results from that, and I decide to choose that as my outcome 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10. Would it not disadvantage me, given that that is not what I had been doing?
No, it won't. You see, what I'm saying is,
yes,
that is what you were doing. You were already, whatever you learned to do, and you're doing this now.
Yes.
It's already built up to that point there that you're doing now. Do you understand? A conveyor belt. Because if you're doing conveyor belt, what are you going to do? You're going to use a lot of rollers. You're going to use bearings. You're going to use a motor. You got to get all that together. But please, there's one thing that I'm asking everybody. Doesn't matter how big your project is. If you've got a 200 million, don't say I've done a 200 million rand project, but you can't tell us what was your role in it. You just say, yes, I did a 200 million. That doesn't mean nothing. But if you tell us what is your responsibility, that's where you go to the RO2 and you go and look at your responsibility, your level of responsibility. And you go and look at what you call it, your degree of responsibility, and then you ask the questions. Is it at the level that is required for me to become registered? So don't be shy with yourself. Be honest. Yes, is this going to give it? No, it's not. Let's look for another project that I've done. That gives me the outcomes. Okay.
All right. No, that's very clear, because my last question.
Can I just add something there?
Oh, yes,
look at all your projects, what you've done, and pick a project that will describe your technical ability to the best, and describe the level at which you are working at level E. Describe that the best. It might not be the biggest project, it might not be the most difficult one, but pick a project that will describe it the best, whether it's the whichever project it is. So that is my advice there. Okay, another question, and please not more than 3 questions today, please.
No, it's my last question, of course.
Okay.
All right. I graduated national diploma in 2018. I had not secured a position as a technician by then. However, I positioned myself to have a part-time or an acting role in the maintenance department of our company. And I think I did that for about 1.5 years. Now, when applying to be a professional technologist, is that part considerable, given that I was not an appointed responsible person in that role at the time? However, I can prove that I was performing certain maintenance technician duties. So is it necessary, or should it be, or is it advisable to be included in the report?
You include everything that you got in your report. But remember, if you got you just got a national diploma currently, am I correct?
Currently I have a BTech. I'm working towards my honors.
Okay, how long ago did you have your BTech?
June 2021.
Okay, so you still got 2 years to go.
Yes.
Okay. No, but what you must do, not the common mistake the guys are doing now and the ladies, the applicants are doing, they only take from their BTech and they put their experience. It's very difficult for us to see how you progressed, because we can see if you started as a technician, but you progressed in the meantime to become working in the responsibilities of a technologist. So you take it from the day you became, finished your diploma up to where you are now. Don't just take from your BTech. It's very difficult for us to assess there. We like to see where you've progressed at all. Okay.
Well, thank you very much.
That's a pleasure. I see your signal is better now. You can come in with your question. Unmute yourself.
That's it.
I thank you for allowing me to step in and speak up. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thanks a lot, and thanks for welcoming me and inviting me here. And I just wanted to ask about mentorship. How can I easily get one, and a really good one, someone who can stay with me for years and years, even if I change jobs 50 times in 1 year, someone like that.
Oh, if you change your job 50 times in 1 year, why?
I'm just worst case scenario,
Okay, let me tell you one thing. Hey, you can have a mentor, or sometimes you don't, but what you can do is you can ask your supervisor if he would like to become your mentor and help you, or somebody in your company that you're working for. They can help you. And also what you do is you identify people where you can get knowledge from. In the company, you ask them questions and show that you are willing to learn. They will help you definitely. And remember, a mentor is not somebody there that's going to spoon feed you. Like give you a shovel and put all the knowledge in. That's not what the mentor does. The mentor gives you the situation and creates a situation where you have to apply your mind to see if you're going to apply it, to open your horizons, to open you to understand the role of a technician, technologist, or engineer in the field that you want to specialize in. So a mentor is never somebody that will keep on feeding you the whole time with information. They will be giving you questions where you have to sort out the answers yourself, because then you will remember what to solve the problem that you pick up. Also, when you're in the field working for companies and you have to go and do field work, listen to the foremans, the old guys. they will tell you a lot of knowledge they've picked up, which will help you too. So everybody is basically your mentor, that you must remember. So it won't be just, you can have one specific, but everybody that crosses your path becomes a mentor in your life too. Okay.
Yes, I understand you clearly, and thanks a lot for your answer. I really got everything you said. Thanks a lot.
I
In
think
what field are you studying in now? I mean, what field are you qualified in?
I've actually got a BTech degree from the CPUT.
Yes.
I'm registered as a technologist at ECSA at the moment since year 2015. That's 2015.
Are you a candidate technologist?
Yes, I just need to catch up with my invoicing and all of that, just so I don't
Okay.
get delisted or something.
Okay, but what engineering field are you in? Civil, mechanical?
Urban engineering.
Beg your pardon?
It's urban engineering.
Oh, urban engineering. So you're civil.
Yeah,
Civil
yes,
engineering.
yes.
Is that correct? Hey?
Yes, sir.
So what you do is you go and talk to a lot of the companies that you work with, even companies you don't work with. You phone them and ask them about problems that you picked up. I've done that many times, and I get a lot of advice from the people.
But you asked
And you read
about you asked about a mentor. And the thing is, with a mentor, it is not easy to find a mentor that will be that will be willing to do a lot of work with you. You need to find someone who you trust, and there must be a relationship of trust between you and that person. Whether it is a person that is in the same company that you're in, or a person that is maybe in your client or whatever, in another company, but then you need a person who is knowledgeable and a person who you have built up a relationship of trust with. And that is the person you would need as a mentor, because he would be able to guide you, because he knows you. To just get anybody as a mentor is a very difficult process, because the person doesn't know you. So you first, after you've gotten a person as a mentor, you first got to build a relationship with that person, and that's not so easy. So try and find someone who you already have a relationship of trust with. Okay.
That's correct.
Which is
I
not so
understand
easy.
you clearly. Thank you for the advice. Thanks a lot.
Okay, let me just say one thing too is, if you do get a mentor, make sure they understand the registration system. So you have to understand your 11 outcomes that is required. Okay.
Yes, I understand you mean. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So just remember RO2 and RO8. You know, for technologists, it's written there. Read those two documents, learn them. You will understand what it means by the 11 outcomes that is required. Okay.
Is it possible to get a copy of that presentation, or is there a way that you send it to me already? Or what?
As I said there, for these presentations, you can go to there's what you call it, professionalcpd.co.za.
Yes.
It's not www, it's just professionalcpd.co.za. You register for free, and all those talks are there on that website. And there's certain courses that you can also do there at very reasonable rates also.
Oh,
In
nice.
other words, after today's session, I download the recording, and I send it to Johan van Skalkwyk, who's got that professional CPD site. He puts it on the site. So probably after about a week, you'll find that this number 17 on that site, the professional CPD site. Wilhelmina, would you like to also add something about the mentoring process?
Can you please say that again?
Johan, can you hear me? Because I
Yeah.
wanted to talk earlier, but I think you couldn't hear me. Am I audible?
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can hear you.
proceed.
Okay, I'm sorry because I'm connecting via my phone, so I won't be able to switch on my video. What I wanted to comment about earlier, I think it's Moeketi who asked the questions, Chris, that you responded to. I think what I wanted to highlight is, like I've indicated that I'm attending the conference, Women in Engineering Conference, and we had a talk from Dr. Emma Mulubi. And Moeketi, I think she's from the same department as you. And you know, the first question that she asked before she started with the presentation, you know, she actually asked all the women in the room a question that how many of them are they registered? And she was interested more on the ones that are not registered because she wanted to find out why. I think there were 3 or so from your same department, and I think the issue, Chris, I think you responded to his question nicely. I think it's an issue of understanding exactly what are the requirements of registration. So Moeketi, what I would advise you to do, I'm not sure if you know Dr. Emma Mulubi, because she is in your company. She's also an assessor, moderator, and reviewer. I think you need to talk to her. She raised her hand in that room to say, you know, she's willing to mentor anybody, you know, who's struggling with registering with ECSA. So I think just connect with her. It's Dr. Emma Mulubi. I'm not sure if yeah.
Okay, can I just come in there too, Wilhelmina? I was on the board to get mentors registered nowadays, because I actually started talking about that and ECSA started listening, is because we get a lot of guys that want to become mentors and they're very near or they retired, but they do not understand the process of the 11 outcomes. And it's so sad when the people come for the interview and they've been having these mentors for years with them and they don't understand the outcomes at all. So what we've done is we've brought in now, I'm just waiting for it to come in, to say if person who wants to become a mentor must understand the 11 outcomes, they have to attend a course to understand the 11 outcomes, what is required of them, that they do not just take the money of the candidates, and when they don't make it, the candidate feels despondent that they have paid so much money, but they've got no value for money at all. That's why I started this many years ago too with Johan. Me and him sat down and we discussed this to say this is what we want to do as a free service, that people can understand what is in the industry, irrespective if you want to do mechanical, electrical, it's the same principle as what you do in civil.
Okay, thanks, Chris, for that.
No, I don't work for ECSA. I just do this voluntary for ECSA like you, please. I just have to tell the people, everybody thinks I work for ECSA if they see me the way I talk and everything. It's just that I've got a passion that I want the people to understand that they can become registered, irrespective in which field they in which section are in this sector. Because a lot of people have got this idea, if you're a contractor, you can never register because you've never been in the design office. If you're a manager, you have to resign and go and work for consultants because you need to become a designer. But yet we're designing every day of our lives. If we've got engineering brains, we're designing. The minute we open our eyes up, we're designing. While we're sleeping, we're designing. That's how our brains are wired, irrespective if we're male or female. That's the way we think. And that's what people don't seem to understand us well.
That's very true, Chris, because I mean, the requirements for ECSA talks to what we do on a daily basis. I think sometimes the candidates probably they overthink or overanalyze, and you know, they're trying to make the report to be perfect. I'm not sure, but I think a lot of people are struggling with that. And I mean, it's the things that you apply on a daily basis. Like you gave an example to say, you know, when it gets asked about, you know, design a conveyor belt, for you to even start to know how to design a conveyor belt, there are certain principles and basics that you needed to understand for you to be able to even get to that point. And I think we forget about those things, and it's important that you put those things in your report. What I find, Chris, over the years that I've been an assessor as well, I'm not sure if whether people are shy to put in the information or they are lazy to put in the, you know, to write you know, to put down information in their reports, because what they are forgetting is it assists us, because when we do the reviews, we look at your experience, your entire experience, because that assists in terms of looking at what level you are. Because what I find is most of the people do not understand the degree of level that, you know, that is required on the form. So because we've been doing this for years, if you give us, you know, enough information, we might assist you when we review your documents. So it's very important that you put all your experience in the documents. Don't just look at the experience post BTech. Sometimes there's certain experience that you've gained that we can look at that would assist us, you know, to make a decision in terms of whether you are competent or not.
That's true. It's very true, because
yes, Chris.
If you look at what they do, a lot of people just take from BTech, but when they do write about their experience as when they started, when they had their diploma, where they were just observing, by the time maybe 2-3 years later, they were already working as a technologist level, but yet they leave that behind and they come here and they say, now I'm working at BTech level, I'm now a technologist, but they'd already worked there. If we see that progression, it helps us to do that assessment of that person. Very true.
And also what I would like to encourage them is to go through the documents that guides you. Go into ECSA website, they are there, download them, please read them before you put together your report. Because that's what I find, that it's lacking a bit. Sometimes during the review, when you see that a person is struggling, you know, we try to assess, but we also try to understand whether this person knows exactly what is required. So many a times you find that people do not even go into ECSA website and review those documents that actually guides them in terms of what are the requirements for registration. And as such, like what Chris said, we as much as you can, you know, write a good report, or somebody else maybe has written a report for you, we don't know, but during the review, we can tell whether you wrote the report or not. So it's very, very critical that you review your information. And what I find, maybe just to give a tip during the review, when you do a presentation, don't read it word to word. Because when you start doing that, you raise a bit of questions from our side. And many a times when we then ask questions, already you can tell, Chris, that no, this person doesn't look like he knows or she knows what she's talking about. So try to make the presentation a bit engaging. Don't go through it, you know, verbatim. It's your report. You know exactly what you've written. All you're doing is just, you know, showing that this is your report. This is the experience that you've gained. And if really you are the one that wrote the report, you should be able to answer all the questions. You should be able to excel in all the 11 outcomes.
That's true. Yeah, no, because I find out what I've picked up. I've had now, last month I did 3 interviews. 2 of them were, we give an hour and a half. And the person, both of them were finished. The one was 30 minutes, the other one was 40. And we said, no, we're not, thank you very much. And we closed the interview. We're not going to labor on what they gave in their presentation was all the technical information. They gave everything there. Just we had a few questions to ask, and that was it. And we were finished. So we don't go there to labor on the point. We do not go there to find out. It's not a cross-examination. As I said, It is to find out what is your competency and did you write that report? And remember, when you're doing your report, it's not a 2-hour job. You're going to spend at least 50 hours there, writing, reading, and give it to your enemy to read through it, not your friend. Your friend will be too shy. He will think, no, if I read through, he will become cross. You give it to your enemy, he will be brutally honest with you. Okay.
Okay, Moketsi, you've got another question, and then Tulani.
Thank you, Wilhelmina.
All right, it's not a question, just a clarity. I didn't get that name, Sis Valamina. You said it's doctor? The name of the doctor that
Sorry, I was
has.
trying. Yeah, I was
Yes.
trying to unmute. It's Dr. Emma Mulubi.
All right.
Dr. Emma Mulubi. Yeah, because she's also in the same department, rolling stock technology.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, thank you very much.
Okay. Then.
Okay, who's the other person you're on? Tulani.
I don't
Yes.
see.
Good.
There's Tulani now.
Good evening.
Yeah,
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Tulani.
Firstly, I'd like to just appreciate what you, yourself, Chris, and Johan, and Sis Velemina are doing on voluntary basis. We really appreciate that. You know, it's very rare to find such type of a service on for free. There's a lot of guys that I'm following on social media that charges an arm and a leg for what you're doing. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to appreciate what you guys are really doing. And I've been following you guys for quite some time on social media, on LinkedIn, and the information that you're sharing is quite informative.
Can I just ask you one thing quickly? You still got your arm and your leg with you, hey?
Yeah, I haven't fallen for that.
Okay, you can carry on.
Yes. Mine, I'm not sure if it was Chris or Johan, but when the first speaker that raised a question after the presentation, there was a comment that came in. The gentleman said he had a BTech. I think he's the one that's doing mechanics and or mechanical engineering. And the comment that came up was that so you still have 3 years, because I think he said he got qualified in 2020. And then afterwards, 2021, yeah. And then afterwards you said, but when you're doing your report, you must not only talk about the work that you did after your BTech, you need to talk about the work that you did after or even before your BTech. Now, what confused me about that statement is the fact that you're saying, okay, you're left with 3 years or 2 years. My question is then, do you first wait until you finish a certain period of time after getting qualified before you can start applying for your registration? Or can you start applying for your registration immediately when you get qualified with a BTech? Because, for example, with me, I've got plus 10 years of experience, but I've just graduated with my BTech this year, and I'd like to register as a professional technologist. But then I'm not sure from that statement whether if am I now ready to start applying for that registration as a technologist, or is there a certain period of time that I need to wait before I can start applying?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll answer that quickly. You got your national diploma. That's correct. So you got 10 years. So you can apply with your experience that you've picked up, but make sure, according to your experience, that you're working at the level of a technologist. That's where you have to understand your R02 and R08. But then you're going to apply according to the alternative route that you can apply for that. But remember, the first 5 outcomes you do on the alternative route, and then from outcome number 6 to 11, you fill in the form as if you had your BTech. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Yes, it makes sense. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's a pleasure.
So, Chris, what is the time limit after your national diploma that you can apply for on the alternative route? Is it still 8 years?
It's 8 years with 3 years on the level degree level E of responsibility.
Okay, thank
as
you.
a technologist.
Okay, Kordani, you also have a question. You must unmute yourself, please. Go ahead.
Yes. I just wanted to find out, when you say that on the experiences we must include the national diploma, are you saying from the first period I must include when I started working after the diploma and then push it through to the BTech, or how
Yes.
do I structure that?
Okay. Remember, you got a degree of responsibility. So you get usually an A, B, C, D, and E. Now that is in your document. A is usually assisting. Now B is where you're getting a bit more responsibility. C is where you're starting to get a bit more. But that's when you in C, you're doing designing, and that D is where you're doing designing, but your supervisor is looking over your shoulder. When you get to level E, you're doing designing as if you are a professional, although your supervisor will still take responsibility. So we need to see how you developed, because what happens is people only write from BTech there. It's very difficult for us to determine how you developed if you got 3 years. But if you're doing your BTech, you did your diploma, so now 8 years ago, but you did your BTech 3 years ago now, you got your degree. But we look at it and we say, okay, you started here, but before you had your BTech, while you were studying already, you were already working already at that level of the requirement for technologist. You understand? So it's easy for us to assess. This is a common mistake everybody makes, but don't do that. Remember, you must show to us you are competent. You know what you're doing. But if you're going to give us half information, we can't do a full assessment properly. You know, so are you going to go and buy half a car?
No.
Just the front wheels and you leave the back wheels behind. You understand? So this is what I'm explaining to you guys there. You start where you started, that we could see the progression of your experience, how you grew, what confidence you picked up, everything. Okay. Does it help
Thank
you?
you. Yes, thank you.
It's a pleasure. Okay, Kobelo.
Hi, Chris.
Yes.
Hope everyone is okay. I can hear you have a bit of flu. I just wanted to ask, like, if it happens like you've worked on a project under design at the office, right? And then you go with the project to site, but at the office we're taking full responsibility of everything, doing all the designs, your drawing, everything. It was me who was producing everything. But then when I get to site, because it was my first time being on site, and then like the level, like I was a clerk of works, but the kind of work that I was performing there, it was more of an ARE.
Okay.
So like, how would you like if you evaluate on that one?
Okay, that's where you look at. That's where you look at your responsibility level there. If you're doing site work there, at what level of responsibility? If you say you were on level E, that will be on your TER. You will be discussing that. You will discuss your design and you will say, okay, I was clerk of works, but these were my responsibilities. We as assessors do see that. We do look at that. So don't think it's just you writing there that you didn't do that. We look at it and we evaluate it accordingly. So
Okay,
that's what we do. Okay.
Okay,
Does
no
that
problem.
help
Because
you?
like, no, it does, because like I had it was one of the things that was stressing me out, because like I wanted to talk with my the person who signed for me on that project, if like I could change like the organogram, make it like an ARE, but he actually advised me like to keep it as as
Yes,
lack of weight.
remember.
So that, yeah.
Remember that person that's signing there
Yes.
is stating you did that work on your TER.
Yes.
So they signing to say, yes, you did this work, we agree it, and they sign it off. What your title was. We will look at it and we evaluate it accordingly. Okay, Kabelo.
Okay. Okay. No
All
problem.
right.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, anybody else with questions? Is that an old Dan Kabelo?
He's taken it down.
Okay.
Yes, no, that
Okay.
was an old one. Sorry.
Okay. Anybody else with questions? It doesn't look like we got any more questions, so you're on.
Yeah, I see that.
Okay,
guys.
what I was-
Chris, I asked on the group what they would like us to talk about, and they said they would like us to go through the whole application form, through all the outcome 1, 2, 3. You know, just an overview of the whole form. So
Yeah.
maybe for next time, and I think next time will be the last one this year, in 2 weeks' time, hopefully.
I'll be, yeah, I should be still, because I'll be leaving on the 7th to KwaZulu-Natal.
Yeah, I see Tulani's got his hand up. Maybe he's got another question.
Yes, Tulani.
Yes, I just have one last question. So there was a time when you guys spoke about being added on a WhatsApp group and so on. Because I'm driving, I couldn't really get that properly. Can you please just repeat which WhatsApp groups are available and how does one get to be part of that group?
Okay, the best is to go to the professional CPD website, right? professionalcpd.co.za. There's a lot of our presentations with all the WhatsApp groups at the back on the presentation that I've done. It's easier for you to get it done in that way. Okay, Tulani.
But if you
Okay, thank you very much.
Basically, you need to send a WhatsApp to my phone, 073 336 2471. I appreciate that you're driving and you can't take it down now. But if you go and as Chris said, on the end of all these presentations on that last slide, it's all there, and you're welcome to send a WhatsApp. I saw someone said on the chat that you don't know where to get the application form on the ECSA website. The application form, obviously, on that professional CPD website. Johan has also put all the stuff there that you can go and look and find the ECSA application forms and stuff there as well. So please go and look there. But on the ECSA website, obviously, under I think it's under forms. It's there.
It's under, basically what you do is you open the ECSA website and you look under documents, and then all the documents will be there. Then
under
you go to Technologists, no, it's under documents, it comes up, and then you go to the area, like if you want to do for Technologists, you scroll down, it's 3.1.2 if I remember right. Then you look there for application form, paperless. It stands very nicely there. I've also discussed it on one of my talks for professionalcpd.co.za there. You can also get the forms, the talk there, but it's under ECSA website, under documents, and you will find it there.
Okay, Chris, I see Sejasela has a question. Please unmute yourself, Sejasela. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Hello,
Evening.
Chris and Jan.
Yeah, okay, evening.
I want to inquire on the processes or stages of process after we have made our submissions to ECSA.
Okay, well, I've discussed it now. So when you make your submission to ECSA, they will send you an email or to state that your document has been received, and it gets gone through by the administrators. Once the administrator has gone through that, you will select your assessors, which is 4 of them. They will give their recommendations back to the administrator. Administrator will take the moderator, choose 2 of them. They will moderate your document accordingly, what is written in the reports, and they will decide there if it goes to directly to professional review or it goes to experience interview, which is information that is lacking, and then from there on. But it's all written in the document RO3, PRO, the processes and the candidates there. So you can go and look through that. This slides will be put on to the website there from professionalcpd.co.za. But that's basically what it will happen there. Okay.
Now, Chris, there's a question on the chat asking how much one should prepare for a PR interview besides the 15-minute interview. I presume he means the 15-minute presentation. Does one stick to the 11 outcomes only, or any kind of questions related can be asked?
Basically, any technical question that is written in your report can be asked there. So that's why I say you need to understand your own report. Do not get other people to write it and learn it off by heart, because it's very disheartening to see somebody sitting here and they're holding their fingers and they're counting and telling you that you know it's not his report. So you practice your presentation. You understand your report. If you've written it yourself, you will be doing well. And just relax. Think of it as if you're sitting with your colleagues around the table at lunchtime, having coffee, and you telling them about a design that you've done, and they ask you questions. If you go with that mindset, you will be fine, because that's what we do. We're not there to do cross-examination like in a court case. As I explained, we are there to find out, are you competent in the 11 outcomes? And is this your work? What happens is, if your presentation is very technical and it's presented well, you will find you've answered about 99% of the questions that you required on the 11 outcomes. There will be a few questions asked, and that's it. So that's why I say, do your own work, do it in your own style, then you will be more comfortable in doing the presentation. Okay, I'm just getting a bit blocked up now. Terrible now at the moment, this flu.
Okay, something else also to remember is, when you write your report, write a clear report of everything that you've done. Don't talk about the project. Don't tell us what the project is. Tell us what you've done. In other words, say, I was delegated full responsibility to do this or this, or I was assisting people to do this and this and this. And as you go through the various stages to level A to E. But level E, you want to be able to say, I was delegated full responsibility to do this and this and this and this. And you describe the technical stuff that you were supposed to do. And don't talk about the money. As Chris said, we're not registering you on the basis of the money that you spend. We're registering you on the basis of your technical knowledge. That is what you registered on, is the technical knowledge. So make sure that you write a clear, concise report of everything that you've done, and it's telling people what level you were working on and what you were delegated to do. These people they don't know you, they can't read between the lines. So if you don't give them the information, they don't have it. They can only go by the report that you've written. So make sure that you might write a complete report, but don't write too much detail. You don't have to describe every little project that you've done. Pick your projects, the big projects that you've done that will where you've been delegated full responsibility, and describe a project in more detail than using small projects which just confuse the issue. As Chris said, for outcome 1, 2, 3, was it 9, 10, 11?
9 and 10. 9 and 10.
Use the same project. Don't jump between projects for those. Use the same project and explain how you qualified for each of those outcomes. Okay.
All right. There's another thing too, is you must always say yourself. It's I. It's me, myself, and I. It's not we. We're not working your company. We're not doing anything interviewing. We're interviewing you yourself to determine your role of responsibility that you worked under. That's what counts. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah. Okay, Chris, I don't think it's already very close to 7 o'clock. And I think we're going to call it a day. And thank you very much for attending.
Sorry, Johan.
Yes.
Yes, I just want to ask something, like in terms of like referees, since we're like right now, like we submitting like online, like what happens like with referees? Do they still like use like the very same like email address that we send our application on, or how do we go about it?
Okay, your application gets sent to engineer@exa.co.za. Okay.
Yes.
That's where you send it to. All right.
Yes, that's the application. But then like in terms of like the referees with their evaluation report, do they also like send it like to the very same email address?
They send it to the same email, engineer@exa.co.za. That's where they send it. If I remember right, it's written right at the bottom of the referee's report. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
No
I
problem.
don't know.
Okay,
One thing I just want to say, I don't know if we're going to have another one before the end of the year, because this is a time we call it silly season, where everybody's working and trying to get ready for the builder's holiday. I don't know if you agree, Johan, but I don't know if there's going to be. But if I do not talk to you guys before the builder's holiday, have a great Christmas, drive safely, and have a prosperous new year. And then we will carry on next year. And be careful. And don't drink and drive too. I know everybody wants to let their hair down. Some people have got hair, some haven't got hair. At least I'm lucky. I still got a bit here, but not much. But I've got a lot here. So what I'm saying is, you guys must enjoy, and the ladies must enjoy their holidays, the holiday break. Hopefully next year we won't have load shedding, in inverted commas, okay? And we will have a lot of money to make next year. So we must think about our future and prosperous new year for us all. We as engineers, technicians, technologists, engineers are the people that make the country. So remember that. Okay, Johan, over to you.
No, sorry, Chris. I'm still also like looking forward like to your response. Did you speak to Dr. Sina?
Yes. Why?
Yes. About the report. I think that's something that you can discuss like after.
I am busy with that report. Okay.
Oh, okay. No.
All right. So we won't talk about it here or after. I first have to finish the report for Dr. Sina. Okay.
Okay.
As I explained, I've been a bit sick for a while.
Yeah,
okay.
no. Yes, yes.
He's discussed that, so I won't discuss it open yet at all. He will get the report. Okay, Kabela.
Okay, thank you very
All
much.
right.
Chris.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Okay, Johan, you can take over now.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for attending today. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Bellamina. I don't see her on the group anymore, but it's so nice to have her here because we need to have more than one person, more than one viewpoint, because each assessor at ECSA obviously has his or her own viewpoint. So we need to look at it for to get as much information as possible, so that you guys can go and get registered and join IPET. You can go to the IPET website, ipet.org.za, and you can go and join there for free. It doesn't cost you anything to join, and if you're not a registered professional, the first year of membership is free as well. If you're a registered professional, it costs you 550 Rand a year, but you get because you're an IPET member, you get a discount from ECSA, which is more than 600 Rand. It's actually more than 700 Rand now. So you still get money left after you've paid your IPET membership fee. So go to the website, join IPET, and be a member of the Engineering Technologist family. Okay, guys, we're going to close up now, and you have a great holiday, but see you next time, hopefully in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, keep well. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Okay, bye.
Cheers.
Bye. Kan ons net gou
Cheers,
gepraat,
guys.
Johan. Okay, jy kan die recording afsit, Johan. Thanks, guys.